The Battle of Stalingrad, fought from August 23, 1942 to February 2, 1943, remains one of the most significant and brutal confrontations in military history. It marked a decisive turning point in World War II, shifting the momentum in favor of the Allies and changing the course of the war on the Eastern Front. Background: in the summer of 1942, Adolf Hitler's forces, after achieving a series of victories across Europe, set their sights on the Soviet Union. One of the primary objectives was the city of Stalingrad, now Volgograd, a key industrial hub on the Volga River and a strategic target for both its symbolic value and its resources. Hitler believed capturing the city would cripple Soviet morale and disrupt their war production. The battle for Stalingrad quickly escalated into a fierce struggle of survival and endurance. The German offensive. The Germans, under the command of General Friedrich Paulus, launched an aggressive attack on Stalingrad in the summer of 1942, believing they could quickly seize the city. However, the Soviet Red Army, led by General Vasily Zhukov, mounted a fierce defense, transforming the city into a fortified fortress. Urban combat took place at close quarters, with both sides suffering devastating losses in brutal street fighting, often involving house-to-house and hand-to-hand combat. 1. The German advance. By late summer, the Germans managed to capture parts of the city, but the Soviets were able to keep a stronghold along the Volga River. The fighting was fierce and merciless, with the city reduced to rubble. 2. Soviet counteroffensive. In November 1942, the Soviet Army launched Operation Uranus, a brilliant encirclement maneuver that trapped the German Sixth Army in a pocket around Stalingrad. The Germans, cut off from reinforcements and supplies, were left to face a harsh Russian winter and relentless Soviet attacks. The battle's outcome. The encirclement of the German Sixth Army proved to be disastrous. Despite Hitler's orders to hold the position at all costs, the trapped German forces were unable to break out. The Soviets relentlessly attacked, and by early February 1943, the remaining German forces in Stalingrad surrendered. 1. Casualties. The battle was catastrophic in terms of human loss. Over 2 million people were killed, wounded, or captured, with the majority of casualties being Soviet civilians and soldiers. The Germans lost approximately 300,000 men, including 91,000 soldiers who were taken prisoner. 2. A turning point. The defeat marked the first major surrender of a German army in the war and marked the beginning of a Soviet counteroffensive that would eventually push German forces back to Berlin. Legacy. The Battle of Stalingrad was a turning point in World War II for several reasons. Strategic shift. The loss at Stalingrad halted the German advance into the Soviet Union and marked the beginning of a long Soviet counteroffensive that would push the Germans westward. Psychological impact. The defeat shattered the myth of Nazi invincibility and was a major morale boost for the Soviet Union and the Allied powers. Symbol of resistance. Stalingrad became a symbol of Soviet resilience and determination, with its defense inspiring the people of the Soviet Union and the world. Conclusion. The Battle of Stalingrad stands as a pivotal moment in World War II, not only for its military significance, but also for its psychological and symbolic impact. It was a brutal, bloody battle that inflicted unimaginable suffering, but it also marked the beginning of the Axis powers' decline on the Eastern Front. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad remains one of the most remarkable and important moments in the history of the war.